Collecting plants in the field and doing it properly is quite an art. Often you'll see people and they'll use snap-lock plastic bags and they'll put their lovely plant specimen in there with a bit of water. That's about the worst thing you can do, particularly if you're in the field for a long hot day, because what will happen is that the humidity in the bag will speed up the rotting process, and by the time you get home the specimen's either starting to rot or it's severely wilted. When I was 17 years old I participated in my first ever botanical expedition with the Auckland Botanical Society, and I can remember being picked up by the then curator of botany, Anthony Wright, and being perplexed why the back of his Land Rover was full of these kinds of books. 17-year-old, very straight, conservative family, guy picks you up and has all of these Girl Guide boys' own annual type books. But I soon learnt that this is an absolutely fantastic way to collect plants in the field, particularly if you're doing a lot of collecting and you can't get to a plant press in a hurry. And the reason why we recommend this is because these old books, which you can pick up in second-hand bookshops easily, have absorbent paper because it's basically cheap and nasty paper, and that's exactly what you want to press your plants. So get as many of these books as possible. Unfortunately now they've become collector's items. They used to be about 50 cents when I started buying them, but you can still get them for about $5. And then go down to a place where they fix car tyres and ask the bewildered person if you could have some inner tubes from flat tyres. They usually think you're a bit mad, but science is being a bit mad, and cut your inner tubes up into straps like that. And then what this is you've got your book, you put your bit of inner tube on like that, and that's actually giving you the pressure to partially press your plant. So now you're set, go collecting in the field. And so in this book here I've got a sample of Faux Entelia arborescens, one of our few endemic genera left, and you can see it's got nice soft leaves, and these are going to wilt very quickly. If I put them into a plastic bag, that will hasten it, and if I don't do something quickly this is going to wilt and the important characters of the specimen will be lost. With a specimen like this I'd break it up into a few pieces and you just roughly arrange them in the pages. You again just fold the leaves in. You don't have to do it too well, although this in a way is the first pressing, so taking a little bit of care helps, because this is going to set the way the specimen will look for your final pressing. Then you simply close off the book and put on the straps. But of course, being a good scientist, we all know that we got to take notes, because a specimen without any notes is a waste of time. Don't bother collecting it. And again, the critical thing, always use a pencil. I know it sounds obvious, but the number of times I see people in the field take out a ballpoint pen and they write their labels and then it pours rain. By the time they get home they just have a ink splodgy mess. So with your pencil, write what you collected. So in this case, Entelia arborescens. Where are we? Where did I get it? What was the date? And if there's anything else you wanted to add. In this case, it's got early flowers and last season's fruit. So I've broken it up into two, so I put ×2. With my specimen, on my absorbent paper, I would write shorthand, so Entelia Arb Mattia with the date. That's all you need to do. With some plants that you collect, this is often just sufficient pressing them. But ideally, when your book is full, you throw them in your pack, you take out the next book, and you keep up the process, and when you get back into your lab or home or wherever you have a proper plant press, then you take your plant out and press it properly. There's a slight aside to this too. If you're ever with these books and you get trapped with a bit of cabin fever in like a tent and pouring down rain, and I've had this happen, the stories that are in here are very dated, sort of when men were men and women made cups of tea for everybody else. So you can amuse yourself by reading out stories to the rest of your camp followers and taking offence to all the politically incorrect things that they got away with in the 1950s and 1960s. But seriously, good fun, good technique, strongly urge to do it rather than using plastic bags or some other way, like, brown paper bags, because you're just going to ruin your specimen.